Isaiah Likely in the house. What's going on, Isaiah? Good to see you. I know we've communicated in the Twitter sphere here and there, but this is the first time we've actually connected as well. So it's good to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you too, my man.
And you said before you're back in Massachusetts, correct?
Yes, sir. Back home.
Nice. And for those on here with us, Isaiah obviously is one of the best, maybe the best. Maybe you'll make that declaration for us here this evening. Tight end in the draft. Man, the highlight reel kind of speaks for itself. Just splitting the seam, doing kind of whatever you want out there. And I don't know. I mean, I'm writing a book on the tight end position, so I've just been so fascinated by the position itself. So I can't wait to hear like how you got into it. But for everybody here, just kind of give us a little quick background on where you come from in Massachusetts. I don't know what your childhood, what your upbringing was really like.
Got you. So I'm from Cambridge, Mass. Originally, I moved to Malden, Mass. When I was 14 years old. Went to Malden High School up until my junior year. Transferred to Everett High School, where I attended. Got almost every FCS offer you can think of, and then my only FBS offers was UMass, Southern Miss, and Coastal. I had took an official to Coastal after being under recruited. Loved my visit there. Loved the team chemistry. Loved the coaching. Came back to my family, and I mean, stories written since.
Myrtle Beach. That's a good selling point, right? Like you kind of those palm trees and
100%.
Yeah, but what's life in Coastal really like? I mean, I got to know Jamie and a few of the players last year around this time for a story.
Gotcha.
It's just it's so cool, kind of what is building there. You know, it's kind of in the heart of ACC, SEC country. Yet you guys kind of built this mini like powerhouse. Well, a couple years ago for sure. You probably were, bring on Bama. Like we want a piece of Nick Saban. But what went into that? How did you guys really kind of build something kind of from scratch in a lot of ways?
Yeah. I mean, really it just comes all in effect of what you would do for your brother, the brother beside you. And that's really what the focal point was from that 2019 year to that 2020, because a lot of people don't know, but out of them 7 losses we had, 5 of them accumulated to 24 points in total of losses. So those games have went either way. We could have been 11-2 team and we ended up being a 5-7. So just being able to harp down on little things, that off season going into the COVID year, and really just understand that you don't have to be here. You're here because you want to be here. And that's just the mindset that everybody came in to get better every day. And then as the season rolled around, we were the underdog almost every game. I mean, and the underdog, the only really surprise to people is you winning. So if people always bet on us losing and we kept winning, I mean, you can see what can happen. So, and then as the season went on, it started to get surreal when you're playing those App State where you beat them at home. You're playing BYU on college game day. And now you're looked at one of those focal point teams where everybody wants to go play football at. And that just all, is a blessing in itself on really what hard work and dedication can do when you'll take that extra mile for your brother.
That year was interesting too, because it seemed like you guys were on prime time almost like every week. Every time you turned on ESPN or ESPN2, like there's Coastal, like those sick jerseys, like just all the celebrations and everything. I mean, what a fun team! Like what's like the best just story you have from the Coastal days of just I guess just kind of having a blast. It seemed like you guys cultivated this like genuine atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean, there was one sick celebration that we had where we had the WrestleMania aura at the end of the game. I don't know who it was after, but it was just like after like celebrating after a win's different. But when you do it with an actual like planned celebration and then a surprise to the team, is just something that you can't reciprocate any other FBS or FCS program. So that was definitely one thing that at Coastal that you learn to love, not only winning, but the fun that coaches have after, and just showing you that all your hard work for those 3 hours in that game is paid off.
That's right. I think it's on maybe there's people on here who saw that because it kind of went viral, right? Like you guys actually had like a wrestling match, like a WrestleMania type of
through the table and all.
Oh my God. Well, man, yeah, just with the draft, what's the last 2-3 months really been like for you? And I think just about everybody on here has an interest in the Buffalo Bills. I think you were in the neck of the woods, right?
Yeah.
Like you were visiting the Bills. So tell us a little bit about that visit too.
So I mean, when you play that last bowl game or last really collegiate game that you have, it all hits you fast. I mean, you're now in the works of trying to be that professional athlete that you strive to be when you was younger. So, everything hit fast at first. I mean, just preparing for the Senior Bowl, preparing for the combine, preparing for pro day. So just having all that in your head like that first week and a half after the game you had just played and trying to get all that in the woodworks. And then really, I mean, just hitting each step and trying to maximize your opportunities. And then looking back on it now is just a blessing in disguise. I mean, always just being where your feet are and never looking too forward in the future and not worrying about really what's happened in the past. Really just put me in the possibility to be that superhero that I called myself when I was younger. And then just, having teams being able to really just love what I do in my game and really try to not really recruit me, but bring me for a 30 visit to come see their facility and come see and show me what it'd be like being in their, jerseys and being their actual facility. It was just a blessing in all itself as well.
So you were in town though, right? I mean, so you were in Orchard
Yeah, I was in
Park.
Buffalo. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was at the facility. I loved it all. Loved it.
What kind of goes into a visit? We do like another on the podcast, like Jim Monis is my co-host, and he used to be the Bills like assistant GM basically. So he did all those visits, like the dinner and the
Yeah.
whiteboard and all of that. And I mean, they carry a lot of weight. So did you go out to eat somewhere? Did you at least get some wings?
Yeah,
I mean, what do you do?
we went. I forget what place it was, but they were known for some steakhouse place. I didn't get steak. I got the ribeye. It was real good though. But the visit in total is just it was a great experience because I mean you get to sit down with the owner, you get to sit down with the head coach, your position coach, the offense coordinator. You get to sit down with like the people that's like really making the decisions that whole draft week, and then you get to like really just maximize your opportunity and tell them really why they should pick you over so and so, or why they should really be trying to grab you in that forsaken round.
What do you say then? Like, Why should a team like the Bills draft Isaiah Likely?
I'm the most versatile tight end in this draft. I mean, when it comes to big play potential, there's no tight end that does what I do with the ball in my hand, or even when I run routes. I mean, I'm I'm really that mismatch nightmare, that chess piece that teams now in the NFL are loving to grab. That's just what I do on the field on a day-to-day basis.
Awesome. Well, we got a pretty big crew in here, so if anybody has a question for Isaiah, fire away.
I have a question for you, Isaiah. Thanks for jumping on too, by the way.
Yes, sir.
Like when did the NFL dream kind of become a reality for you?
I'd say, I mean, I've been playing football since I was 4 years old, so it's always been a dream. And then probably my sophomore year of college, where I had my first 100-yard game, when I was like, man, this was like kind of easy. Like I feel like I could do this on a day to day as long as I get the opportunities.
Yeah.
And then it was just off of just studying film and really just harping on little things in the off season and just maximizing practice. And that's just put me in the possibility of having a stellar senior year, even when I was injured. I mean, junior year when I was injured, and then going in and maximizing my potential after that, fully healthy, fully recovered in my senior year, and having really the record-breaking year I needed.
Because I remember it was a thought for you, right? About maybe going pro early.
Yeah.
It had to have been tempting because you had some pretty good numbers.
I
the year
had
before.
so yeah, I was arguably one of the top tight ends my junior year, and then I had a lot of people didn't know, but I had torn my plantar plate in my left foot. So like I was really playing after week 3. I had like my bone was shifting in and out during routes, during blocking. So like I needed surgery after the season. So like I had finished the year, did everything I was supposed to do, and then got surgery. And then I had already told my team and my coaches I was coming back. And then I had told people like this is gonna be a year that I promise will open a lot of eyes because I'm 100% healthy and 100% ready to go.
The plantar plate, you said?
Yeah, so it's like the bottom of your foot.
Oh my god, that doesn't sound fun. Did you go to that guy is it the guy in Philadelphia who's like the foot guru?
I know
or-
exactly what you're talking about. No, I had Dr. Pappas at Conway. He
Okay.
did a great job. I mean, yeah.
Because you want somebody who does that right. I mean, I've talked to guys, they have foot issues and
He
you
does
screw
it.
that up, it could linger.
Yeah.
Brian, Connor, Andy.
Zay, how you doing, man?
Real good. How about yourself?
Doing good. So, like, a question that I thought of, I know like the combine interview process is like a little involved. I've heard like a couple weird stories. Like, I think with the Dolphins, I think like Mike McDaniel was like dropping like random 90s hip hop references for like no reason to some prospect. And then a couple years ago, I think like Gardner Minshew like had to do like a game of horse with the Colts. Was there like anything like that really stood out to you about the combine process? Like anything weird like that, or was it just like more like football stuff?
It was mostly the football stuff. But I mean, like probably the most unorthodox thing I had to do was with the Bears position coach, tight ends coach. He had sat me down right away and told me to list 20 retired or current tight ends in the league right now in like a minute and 30 and see how much I knew. So that was probably the most unorthodox.
How did that
And
go? Sorry, man.
I got 14. I got 14 or 15. I forget which one, but it was good. I mean, it was just like I took like 7 seconds to like, man, did he really just ask that? And he was like, well, and I just started going.
And the one other thing that I thought of while you were talking about like your dinner with the Bills, I don't know if you have to like sign like an NDA or anything before you go into these things, but did like Ken Dorsey say anything about like how they'd incorporate you into the offense? I know that he's like trying to do some more 2 tight end sets this season. I think you fit that well, but I don't know if he like elaborated on any of that stuff.
I mean, they're always going to tell you what they can and can't do with you, and that's with every prospect, and that's just because of they wouldn't have you there if they didn't think that you could fit their offense or their defense in per se. So, like, they're always going to tell you what they can and can't do with you. It's just all on the matter of what team and what coach and really what organization pulls that trigger on draft day.
Do you like to block? Is blocking something you enjoy?
Yeah, I love the tight end position as a whole. So like whatever I had to do as in the tight end, whether it's blocking, whether it's catching, whether it's being that focal point, I welcome every challenge. I tell that's every coach.
That's big because it seems like just talking to a lot of these tight ends, there's some people who, it's kind of just it's a nuisance, right? That 9-on-7 drills called at practice, like, get me the hell out of here. I don't want anything to do with this thing. But I mean, if you can give them something as a block, I mean, that's going to be huge for you because everybody sees what you can do as a receiver. What goes into blocking? How would you kind of describe that element of your game?
Really, I said, like, I take blocking, like, going really the offseason my junior year, people like a lot more teams started saying, well, he's not a blocker. Like, he's just a big receiver. So, like, harping that, like, really just taking that as, like, a knock and really just saying, like, man, if they're saying it, I know everybody else is thinking it. So taking that, like, over the shoulder or really on the shoulder and just smacking the face and just really harping on the offseason, really just practicing leverage, hand placement, and really just driving and just making strides in that my senior year. And obviously, like, I'm not the best, and obviously there's always going to be things to improve. But, like, when I come, like, go in games to block, like, I don't play around. Like, I don't try to get in people's way. Like, if I got to block you, like, you're not making the tackle. And that's how I go about it. Like, as long as you're blocking, you're my man, and I'm blocking you, and you can't make the play, there's at least 4 to 5 yards this game. Because in Coastal's offense, I was most likely the lead blocker for most instances in the run game.
Yeah, I would think when somebody criticizes your blocking, it's almost like they're going after your manhood. Like they're just saying you can't handle like the real football stuff here. I would take that to heart a little bit.
100%.
I got one here. How do tight ends like the assignment in a specific play? Is it always like on this specific play you're a receiving threat, or on this specific play you're a blocker? Like it seems like it would have a lot of IQ required and football IQ to be like, oh, that guy's, that rusher's blitzing, this guy's not. Like, do you make that last second adjustment, or does someone else, or how's that work? Like in the like second before the snap.
So really, like, I can't speak for like other people's offices, but for Coastal,
Right.
like the quarterback checks it. So like you got to know what really everybody is, because sometimes he'll check it to a 5-man protection where you're still out on the route, and sometimes he'll check it into a 7-man protection. Whereas now you got to know whether the tackle's covered or uncovered, and if you have the DN or if you have help by the running back, and that's just off of really just knowing and studying and really just breaking down film and watching their tendencies, and also understanding your playbook.
Right.
So whether it's the combine or any of the visits that you took, I think you said you took 4 visits total.
Three
Three
visits.
So it was the Bills and who else?
Jets and Cardinals.
That's right. So whether it was the visits or the combine, how stressful is it when they ask you to write something on the board? Because I mean, Monis was saying at a couple weeks ago on our podcast how when he was with the New Orleans Saints as a scout, they had Josh Norman in, maybe the best player at Coastal ever, right? Like,
yeah,
and it was a train wreck. Like Josh couldn't get the clicker to work. I think they were watching film. He had to point things out on film. He didn't know what he was seeing. He was like in tears. Like they almost felt like really bad for Josh Norman. And Sean Payton and the Saints are like, we're not drafting this guy. And obviously it was a mistake because he's, one of the best DBs of his generation. So, I mean, who knows what you even take from that, but clearly like the stress of that moment ate him alive, and with the Saints anyways. Was it stressful for you? Like, what did teams ask you to do in that setting?
Different teams ask different things. So like a lot of teams would just ask, really just draw up, really defensive schemes, defensive structures, and then your plays that you would do to like really just get a first down and get, like, if it was 3rd and 5, like get 5 yards. If it was 1st and 10, get a first down, just stuff like that. And then like a lot of teams would like see if you like either studied for the moment or if you just know it off of just knowing football. So teams would talk to you while you're writing it on the board to really see if like you're just doing it because like you actually practice. But like I love film and I love board work and I do it all the time, my coach. So like I can have like an intellectual dialogue while drawing up cover 3 with an over front, with an under front, with an over G, and really just draw up what we would do to face it. Because like that's the thing, like at Coastal, like I was used everywhere. So I had to know really what everybody did. So I could tell everybody what the offensive line had, to what the running back's read was, to what the 3 receivers had, to what the tight end had, and what Grayson's 1st, 2nd, and 3rd read was in every concept.
That's really interesting. I mean, what a cool tactic. Like, it makes sense, right? They're trying to carry a conversation with you while you're like doing something.
Yeah.
So it's about the conversation's about something completely different.
Yeah. So like they'll be like, okay, can you draw up under G with cover 3 and a roll down boundary safety? And then I want to see what you guys would do in your passing game on 3rd and 8. And then like you're drawing it, and he'd be like, so tell us about your home life. And like you got to talk to him while you're drawing it up. It's never like, okay, what would he have if he rolled down there? No, it has nothing to do with football.
And you know what they're really trying to do to you.
Yeah, 100%. And like they'll know if like you're just not answering because you're really trying to focus, or if you're like you're answering because you actually know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You feel like you got to show off that skill of really knowing the game?
Oh,
during your
100%.
visits?
Yeah. I mean, I surprised a lot of really coaches at the combine in my formal meetings, because those formal meetings, you got 20 minutes to really just impress them and show them that you're intelligent in a football game and not just playing it and not just understanding your responsibility, but really understand the goal in the play as a whole. And that's really what I highlighted and showed really teams.
that sounds exhausting. Like those 20-minute meetings, just
Oh,
like right
yeah.
after it's like speed dating or something. But it sounds
But
like sounds exhausting.
yeah, I mean, at the combine, it was more because it was like 16 repetitive teams asking the same questions of all
Oof.
backgrounds. Some teams would throw in like plays, like drop plays, but most it was just all background information. So you're just repeating the same story for 3 hours straight, and you can't like act like you didn't want to be there because at the end of the day, like it's your dream, like your dreams, like literally right in front of you. So you can't just act like you didn't want to be there.
Man, so how do you view the combine? Because I'm kind of torn on it. Like, part of me like thinks, yeah, it's. I mean, it's a drag. I mean, that's stupid, right? What you just said, like, it's idiotic. Like, why should you have to say the same exact thing again and again? And like, what are you really going to learn in 15, 20 minutes? And then, like, the first day of the combine is so awkward. I mean, you're like in spandex and you're like stripped down to nothing and you're getting weighed and poked and prodded. But then, like, if you blow up at the combine and you show I'm this big, strong, fast specimen who can get this many reps on the bench, you can run this in the 40, like, you're going to make yourself a shit ton of money too. So, I mean, I have a hard time just like crapping on the combine as well. I don't know, like, just the
It's,
concept of it. Where do you stand?
I mean, I like coming from a G5, so really, I feel like it's a showcase for them, for really those people that's being doubted in per se, really just on what they do on film. Is it really just because of lackluster competition, or if it's because that's really who they are? And that's only if you didn't get invited to those all-star games. So I feel like when like those underclassmen, so like if you're a junior, you can't go to an all-star game. You got to bank on and getting invited to the combine, or you got to bank on that pro day. But combine really lets all 32 teams know that like you are one of those players that's supposed to play in the National Football League. And like at the end of the day, like the combine is always, that dream for that kid that you obviously want to do. But there's a lot of hard, long nights at the combine.
Right, because you probably have meetings at night, right? Like,
Yeah.
how late do you have to do stuff?
You're there from really your last meetings at like 11:30. That's really when it clocks out and you're done and you get to go to your room. But then like a team might grab you at like 11:45 for a quick minute, and then you still want to see your trainers that you haven't seen all day. So like you're really not getting inside till like 12:45, 1 o'clock, and then you gotta wake up again at 5 a.m. Yeah.
Man. I just totally forgot to ask you too. Like, how did you get into the tight end position? Like, what did you play growing up, and at what point did you kind of make the move to the
So
greatest?
I've been a receiver in a defense end my whole high school experience, and it wasn't until my senior year where I was being recruited as a tight end, but like a tight end hybrid. So like I'd still be able to do receiver tendencies. I'd just be able to be labeled as a tight end. So like I guess my freshman and like middle of sophomore year, I liked the tight end position, and I felt like that's what wasn't letting me achieve being able to get to that next level and being that top tight end title. And then really just harping on the little things and fall in love with the run game as much as I did in the passing game my sophomore summer, and really just trying to be that league caliber player that everybody talks about, and just bringing my game to a whole nother level my junior year. And then just really just having the injury set me back a little bit, and just the goals and what I wanted to achieve. And then coming back my senior year and showing them that I'm not only the same player, but I'm a lot better. I'm twice as the player I was last year. And just really just showing them that, I love this position. I don't just play it just because that's my label. I take this. I don't ever take this for granted.
Of those 14 guys that you mentioned to the Bears tight ends coach, who do you love the most? Like, who do you just admire watching when you're pulling up clips?
When I was playing, like in high school, my senior year, I watched a lot of Antonio Gates. Now, like I watch a lot of Darren Waller, George Kittle, a little bit of Kyle Pitts, Travis Kelce, and just really try to model their games and really just take how their coaches use them to be that mismatch nightmare, and see what they do with their routes when they're getting those man coverages, when they're getting those brackets looks, to always really just be open and really what they bring into the run game and have the passing game look just like it.
Yeah. Best part about living in Myrtle Beach for all of college?
I definitely say being able to escape on that water. I mean, that's just what brings you down to Myrtle Beach is that beach, and just having that beach being 15 minutes away where you could just go there and relax your mind and just walk on the beach and just look in the horizon and just realize that this is people's escape places on vacations. And you could come here on a Tuesday afternoon in the middle of class and just really be able to kick up and relax.
Jeez. I don't know what everybody else thinks on this, but it's like went to Syracuse for college. And we didn't have many of those moments. It was snowing and mid to late April, right with finals around the corner. Why the hell am I doing this right now? Why didn't I choose Coastal Carolina?
Yeah, if you get drafted to the Bills, you're gonna have to find a new hobby. No, there's no beach.
I'm used to it though. I'm from Massachusetts, so it ain't a lot here.
That's true. It'll be the lake effect though will be different. We can promise you that.
Yeah.
It would be interesting if they took you. I mean, they've got Dawson Knox, OJ Howard. I mean, hey, maybe some 3 tight end sets. Maybe they have a vision for you. Maybe it's a role we can't even think of right now.
Probably. I mean, that's what they get paid to put the best players on the field. So however they do it, I'm with it.
Well, I know Marcus just joined us too, but if anybody else has any questions for Isaiah, let her rip. And
No, the only thing I was going to add is that Buffalo and Green Bay, they're both pretty similar that way.
That's right. We're bringing in the Green Bay contingent now with Marcus, so that's it could be a possibility. Who knows?
Yeah, Tyler's got what he got is like a second headquarters in Green Bay, basically. We'll go along.
I know it's definitely like our foundation is Buffalo, Green Bay. There was a lot of Giants after that story, but now it's just kind of scattered after that. But
Gotcha.
well, awesome, Isaiah. Hey, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Awesome to get to know you, and best of luck this week. I almost said next week. It's finally here. You got to love that.
Yeah. 3 more nights.
Yeah,
Great.
good luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
All
thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
Take care, man.
You too.